Hey everyone, welcome back to Simply Lily. Today we're going to be diving into the very heart of crochet, the foundation, the crochet chain. This is for absolute beginners. Of course, if you're not a beginner, it's still for you too. So I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step on how to make your first crochet chain and share some tips about how I get my chain started and what else is needed. All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to be starting off with our hometown yarn. This yarn is super bulky in the weight size 6. It is 5 ounces. It gives you instructions on what knitting needles you can use and what crochet needles you could use. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. Now that I have the wrapping removed from my yarn, I'm just going to elongate my yarn so that I have enough to work with. I grabbed my 9mm crochet needle from my kit. It lets you know what needle works well with this yarn. I believe it did start from 6mm, but I like to use the largest needle I can find at the time, especially when I'm working with super bulky yarn. In order to create a knot to start working on your chain, you want to elongate your fingers and then wrap the yarn around your finger twice. And we're going to grab the first loop starting from the left and bring it over the second loop. Then use our thumbs to hold it in place. Next, we're going to use that next loop and bring it all the way over our fingers so that we can create a leapfrog effect. And now we have our first starting loop/stitch that we will then put our needle through. And then pull tight. You don't want to pull too tight, otherwise working will become extremely difficult. And there we have it, our loop on our crochet needle. So here we're going to position our hands in a very interesting way. I sometimes don't do this. I do my hand holding in a different way, but you'll hold the tail of the yarn and then extend your finger so that you have a good grip of that. Then you're going to use your crochet needle and go right underneath that excess yarn and then just pull it through that loop that we created, and now you've created your first chain stitch using your crochet needle. So you're going to try that again, under and then pull through, and then you have another chain, under and then pull through, and that's your third chain. It becomes very easily as time goes on. It really depends on how you've positioned your hands with your yarn. For me, when I elongate my finger out, as you saw in the beginning, it is helpful, but this method I tend to do more often because I have the yarn close to my needle a little bit more, and it just feels a little bit more comfortable. Of course, do what works for you, but essentially this is how you create your first chain stitch. And we're just going to create some more. Keep practicing, keep doing this. It is the foundation of every crochet project that you have. And there it is. It looks like a braid that you do in your hair, which it basically is, right? All right, so that is essentially how you make a chain stitch using the crochet. This is the back of the chain stitch. You can identify the front and the back by the V's or the braid. In the front, you can see the braid and the V shape, and while you turn it to the back, you'll see the humps and bumps, and that is how you identify the back from the front of your crochet chain. In my next video, I'm going to show you guys how to work in the front of the chain, and then in a subsequent video, I'm going to show you guys how to make stitches using the back of the chain. They do show very different methods of how to do this, but I'm going to show you guys the method that I typically use to work with this stitch. Whenever I am crocheting, I normally use one of the larger needles. I tend to grab anywhere from 6 millimeters to my 10 millimeters, my 9 being my favorite. I absolutely love the 9. I absolutely love working with the larger, bulkier yarns because they're so much easier to work with than the tiny yarns. That is my own personal preference and my own personal opinion for sure. So you could work with whatever you want, but I typically, when I am showing someone how to do anything related to crocheting, I always tell them grab the 9 millimeter and super bulky yarn because it's very helpful. So here I'm like showing you guys the stitches. This is the back of the yarn. You could tell by the humps of the back of the yarn there. And then the front of the yarn, the front of the stitch, forgive me, looks like a braid. So that's how you differentiate the two, okay? All right, friends, that wraps up the basics of creating a crochet chain. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, please shoot me a question in the comment section and I will be sure to get back to you and be super helpful in answering those for you. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one.